Well, the Golden State Warriors gave Dub Nation the comfort food they needed. What is comfort food for an NBA fan base, for a sports fan base? A good old-fashioned blowout, and that's exactly what happened. The Golden State Warriors, that was a good old-fashioned ass-kicking. I don't know how else to spin that. It was needed. It was relaxing. Happy Sunday, everybody. Let's break it all down next. Welcome to the Golden Days. That's the name of the program, and here's the open. Let's go.
They always find something to nitpick, and that's because there's expectations for us to win.
We are going to win the championship.
Let's go.
In a minute, I'ma need a sentimental man or woman to pump me up.
Welcome to the Golden Days. That's the name of this program. I am your host for this Sunday afternoon. You can follow me on Threads and Instagram at DogWild, on Twitter at Surf Journalist. The program is on both platforms at Golden Days Pod. Before we get into the nitty-gritty, before we get into the details of a good old-fashioned butt whipping, a blowout victory by the Golden State Warriors, 148 to 106 in a game that I'm trying to find the duration because if you told me this game was finished in under 2 hours, I believe it. That went incredibly fast, and I actually think I have a box score that reveals the actual duration of a game. Let me see if this score has it, because that ended fast. That just started. Oh, here it is. I found it. 2 minutes and 4 seconds was the game duration. This went fast, folks, and for very good reason, because the Warriors came in. They took care of business fast. Brandon Podziemski set personal records for three-pointers made. Stephen Curry's riding a bike in the fourth quarter before the game's even done, getting himself ready for that huge monster heavyweight fight Tuesday night, Warriors and Grizzlies. We're going to break all of this down because there is a lot to discuss on the show. After we give some love to our sponsors, two of them for the evening. First and foremost, visit Humboldt, a beautiful destination. Whether you live in Northern California, whether you're anywhere in the world. I mean, California is a tourist destination. I'm not, breaking news saying that. So people flock to this state to check out usually either Southern California and, the Disneylands, the beaches. Some people come to the Bay Area to see the East Coast city on the West Coast, San Francisco, and all the culture and architectural wonders. What people who come here from other places don't realize is that the most beautiful part of California is not in Southern California. It's not in the Bay Area. It's the actual Northern California. You got to drive way up to the top to visit Humboldt. It's paradise. It's full of lush redwood forests and giant sequoias as well. You've got breweries to visit, some delicious beer. Thank me later if you try Steelhead out. They've got wineries. The dining is ridiculously good. Hiking trails, fresh air, clean water, whatever it is you're looking for outside of maybe like a hardcore party scene. But take the family, take the puppy, go yourself, make it a romantic getaway, take the friends with you, whatever you want to do. Humboldt is set up for you, and all you have to do to find places to stay, and if you want a resource for things to do, go to visithumboldt.com. That's the website where, again, they give you all the resources you need to set your adventure up, or just DM me. Cyrus Saatsaz, that's my name. You can DM me on Instagram at DogWild, on Twitter at Surf Journalist. I will get back to you. I'll set you up. I used to call the place home. I loved it. Still love it. I drive up there all the time, at least once a year. I can't get that place out of my system entirely. Have fun. Visit Humboldt.com. Today's episode also brought to you by BetOnline, the world's most trusted betting platform. March Madness is winding down, but it doesn't mean the madness is over. And BetOnline has you covered. Even if your bracket's busted, BetOnline BetOnline has more ways to stay in on the action with a free Sweet 16 bracket and live betting on every remaining tournament game. From every Cinderella story to every hat trick, BetOnline has you covered with odds, stats, and more for every game, every play, and every win. BetOnline, the game starts here. And again, a final in the Bay Area. No, that wasn't in the Bay Area. I apologize. The game was in San Antonio, and the Golden State Warriors playing in an arena that they don't normally thrive in. San Antonio, I would not call friendly confines for the Golden State Warriors. They went nearly 2 decades without winning a game there before the Stephen Curry era. And but regardless, even in the Warriors' 73-win season, I went to a game in San Antonio, and they lost that game. Normally, you don't get good memories. You don't get positive experiences from the Golden State Warriors taking on the San Antonio Spurs in San Antonio. Not the case tonight. The Golden State Warriors took care of business. Again, a final score of 148-106. Brandon Podziemski, a player who, when he does this consistently, Madeline, where Dub Nation is going to be enjoying the next generation, the next chapter of this storied franchise's illustrious storyline. The next generation is going to include a Brandon Podziemski who hopefully shoots like that. It's going to include a Jonathan Kuminga who hopefully is more durable than what we're seeing lately, because Jonathan Kuminga went down tonight, did not come back in this game. And if there's going to be a criticism of Kuminga from yours truly, it's this: you got to stay on the court. Okay. And the positive spin I've heard from a few people about Kuminga tonight is, well, chances are if this wasn't a blowout, we'd see him again. I believe the Warriors were already leading by 19 when Kuminga took a hard fall. It looked like another tailbone injury. The report after the game, courtesy of Warriors PR, was that he injured his ankle. And it was an ankle situation that ultimately resulted in him not coming back. They need him if they want to be a championship contender. And he needs to figure it out in terms of staying on the court. He's never going to develop. He's never going to contribute to the Warriors if he's not actually playing. Easier said than done. Stephen Curry figured it out. That dude had serious ankle injuries early in his career. Guy was going in for operations. You don't see him missing time much anymore for good reason. Kuminga has to figure that part of it out. I know in his situation, it's going to be different given he's much more athletic. He's a much more vertical player. And these injuries seem to be happening on the falls, on the come downs. He's got to figure that part of it out. So Kuminga, unfortunately injured, missed most of this game. JK finished playing tonight, 6 minutes, 34 seconds total. Brandon Podziemski, on the other hand, setting a career high. It's a very short career. I know this is just year 2, but a career high in three-pointers made. 7. Brandon Podziemski finished this game 7 of 9 shooting from deep. He finished this game leading the Golden State Warriors in scoring with 27 points. Did not lead the team in net rating, somewhat surprisingly. Wasn't even in the top 3, but still had a plus 22 in a game that the Warriors won by 42 points. The second time this season, the Golden State has submitted multiple of quarters of scoring 40 or more points in a quarter. Second time they've done that this season. This was a good old-fashioned ass kicking again. I think a lot of us were very much anticipating a day like this or a night like this. Yeah, but the sun's still out. Not the norm for a Warriors post-game show, but this was nice to just relax, kick back, and just watch in calm, chill fashion. Just a beautiful. You could while the birds are chirping, while you could hear the wind hustling the leaves of the trees outside. You could sip your afternoon coffee if that's what you were doing. Whatever you were doing to just relax and find your inner calm. Golden State Warriors blowout, just an utter ass kicking. Mwah. Needed that. Thank you. Thank you to the Golden State Warriors for giving a lot of us what we've been clamoring for a while. A game where there was just no stress. A game where Warriors fans did not grow new gray hairs. they were killing it from the beginning to the end. They led this game 44-27 after one quarter. They outscored San Antonio 24-17 in the second quarter. The Golden State Warriors added another 40-plus point quarter in quarter three, outscoring San Antonio 43-29. The fourth quarter was a little riveting. If the Warriors weren't completely kicking San Antonio's ass by that point, you might have been captivated a little bit. The Warriors won that quarter 37-33, a final score of 148-106. But Brandon Podziemski pretty much goes without saying, should go without saying, is our Visit Humboldt player of the game tonight because of the stat line. Again, no player in the Warriors reached the 30-minute mark. Goes to show how much the depth of this team is playing a big factor. I got some stats that the TV crew tonight, courtesy of NBC Sports Bay Area, published in terms of the Warriors' depth and statistically speaking, just how dominant that bench has been this year. I'm going to show you in just a minute a graphic which highlights those statistics. But Brandon Podziemski leading the way, 26 minutes, 55 seconds of play, 9 of 14 from the field, 7 of 9 shooting from deep. Again, the 7 3-pointers, a career high for Brandon Podziemski, surpassing his previous career high of 6. Had one trip to the free throw line, a perfect 2 of 2 from the charity stripe, 6 rebounds, 5 assists. I've been saying this before, and I'll say it again. The assist number is what I've been focusing on with Brandon Podziemski a lot lately, because that's what point guards are supposed to do. They're supposed to involve your teammate. They're supposed to facilitate. They're supposed to make everyone around them better. And Brandon Podziemski, those assist numbers have been low. And that's the category, the specific statistic I've been looking at. Tonight, 5 doesn't feel like a lot, doesn't sound like a lot, but that is very positive for Brandon Podziemski. I want to see more of that. This was a great game all around. 27 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, added a steal in this game. The box score will not show the charge that Brandon Podziemski also took. He took a good one early in this game as well. I don't think Podziemski's leading the NBA in charges this year. Led the NBA in that category last year. Collected one of those tonight. And Brandon Podziemski is your Visit Humboldt player of the game. Yes, MJ, that is a fine stat line. Goes without saying. Beautiful game. And look, MJ adding this line to it, saying that Podziemski's haters are in shambles tonight. He's not. I want to phrase this the right way. Podziemski is not doing this consistently, and I think that's been a huge part of the criticism. Is he's had games like this before. I mean, never 7 threes, but he's had games with 6 threes. He's had games where he's looked damn good as a scorer on top of the other parts of his game. But consistency is the variable that separates good from great in the NBA. And if Podziemski can do this on a night-by-night basis, woo! I mean, yeah. Now, if you do call yourself a Podziemski hater, that's going to shut you up. He's not there yet on a consistent basis. We do have to keep in mind the San Antonio Spurs are not a team that you want to use as a litmus test for where you are in the season. That's a team in full rebuild, but damn encouraging. It looked good. And if this is what he can become as an NBA player, they just locked up their future point guard for the next 15 years. So congratulations to the Golden State Warriors for that. Congratulations to Brandon Podziemski, our Visit Humboldt player of the game tonight. He was fantastic. And I'm checking to see right now if there's any sound that has come down for Pods. So I'd love to hear from him. He did do a post-game interview on the television broadcast. And kudos to, I think it was Festus Ezeli, who brought up the fact that Brandon Podziemski still looks sunburned. And it was a funny back and forth because Podziemski kind of opened a window a little bit into what went down in Miami. He said he was having fun with his teammates. And he did supposedly, according to Brandon Podziemski himself, use SPF 70 for sunscreen. But according to Pods in that interview, he said he doesn't get out often. And despite the 70 SPF, still experienced that sunburn that we all saw on television. But kudos, good job to Brandon Podziemski again. for a great night tonight. Again, there's no negatives. Like I revealed the one negative again, which was Jonathan Kuminga suffering that injury that caused him to miss the game, the majority of the game. He only played 6 minutes and 34 seconds. The Warriors' public relations staff tweeted out via their PR account. That's where they disseminate now a lot of their newsletters and news releases and alerts like this. So the Warriors' PR staff reporting that Jonathan Kuminga did not come back to this game because of right ankle soreness, which indicates what the fall impacted in terms of injuries. So Tuesday's a huge game, and we're going to preview that more so tomorrow. Sam Gordon of the San Francisco Chronicle, beat reporter, does a fantastic job covering the team, traveling with the team, and he's traveling with the team right now. He's going to join us tomorrow, and that's where we're going to do a huge Warriors-Grizzlies preview, because that game potentially, we don't know for sure yet between now and Tuesday, but as of this moment, the Warriors winning tonight put them back in 6th place in the standings. Huge, right? And again, if this keeps up, and there needs to be some games that fall into play between now and Tuesday, and we'll look at the scheduling for the Warriors and Grizzlies upcoming, or more specifically the Grizzlies, to see what they have upcoming. But what I'm trying to say here is that the potential exists for the Warriors to win Tuesday in Memphis and move up in the standings to 5th. That could happen as soon as Tuesday. That's huge. The Memphis Grizzlies right now are 44-30. The Golden State Warriors, with tonight's win, improved to 43-31. They are literally one game back of Memphis, and they're now ahead of the LA Clippers by a whole game, because the Clippers lost earlier today to the Cleveland Cavaliers. We'll cover that in more detail in a little bit. The Minnesota Timberwolves, another team that's lurking. They currently sit one game behind the Warriors. They got into a kerfuffle today with the Detroit Pistons. I don't know if you folks saw the highlights for that. It wasn't as big. I mean, when I first heard about it, I thought it was like another melee, another palace style brawl where you got maybe fans involved. And when you actually look at it, it was just a couple people getting into it. Nothing crazy. Dante DiVincenzo was involved in that scuffle. But regardless, we'll break down the standings in a little bit. But if things hold, the Warriors, again, Tuesday could jump up to 5th in the Western Conference. The Warriors are also just 2 games back currently of the LA Lakers for the 4th seed. So even that is not out of the realm of possibility for the Golden State Warriors. Again, all it will take is one run to finish this season, and they could be set up with good playoff positioning come postseason. The Memphis Grizzlies, by the way, this is their upcoming schedule. They have one game between now and Tuesday against the Warriors. That is tomorrow at home, hosting the Boston Celtics. So if the Grizzlies do somehow pull off the upset and win that game tomorrow, the Warriors will not leapfrog to 5th in the standings Tuesday. They would still be a half game back of Memphis if they won that game. But if Memphis loses tomorrow hosting the Boston Celtics, and side note, that's additional good news for the Warriors. They're going to be playing a Grizzlies team coming off the second of a back-to-back, with the first game being hosting the Boston Celtics. The Warriors might just be all alone in 5th place Tuesday if Memphis loses that game, and then they lose to the Warriors the next night. By the way, AN in the chat bringing up that Quentin Post is going to an autograph signing at Lefty's. Are you referring to Lefty O'Doul's in San Francisco? Is that the Hofbrauer bar? Is that it? Is that still the place? Or is that the place we're referring to? Is that place even still open? That used to be a legendary spot close to Union Square in San Francisco, but I thought they shut down. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. Pretty cool. Yeah, go enjoy if you go. Lefty O'Doul's apparently. And yeah, Yada, I mean, it is incredibly thrilling and exciting that the Golden State Warriors could be potentially playing for the 5 seed on Tuesday. Good stuff. I want to highlight some other individuals who I thought played excellent basketball tonight. Moses Moody, bravo for getting your shooting stroke back. Moody was something like, I think I heard on the broadcast tonight, he had been 6 for his last 32 shooting from deep. I'm spitballing that. I forgot to write that down in the notes, so please forgive me if that's not the exact number, but I know it's very close. And tonight, Moses Moody, his shooting stroke looked damn good. It kind of like the Moody recalibration on his shooting stroke reminded me in some ways of Brandon Podziemski going through a similar struggle earlier this year. Obviously, their shooting styles are very different. But in case you forgot, Brandon Podziemski early this season had to work on his mechanics a little bit. He did not start the season shooting the ball well. And I don't know if it was a coaching adjustment. I don't know if he went to his trainer to fix this, but Podziemski fixed the shot, and thankfully he's having nights like this now where he went 7-9. Moses Moody recently went through a shooting slump similarly. A few games ago, he was 0 of 9, I believe, in the Miami game, shooting from 3. 0 of 9. That's ugly. Tonight, even without looking at the box score, just seeing his form, seeing the mechanics, looked so damn good. Moses Moody on the night. Brandon Podziemski is our player of the game, but Moses Moody is a very well-deserved runner-up because he played 24 minutes, 33 seconds. Besides the excellent defense that he put on display tonight, granted against a hapless San Antonio Spurs team, Moses Moody was 7 of 11 from the field, shot 50% from deep. He was 3 of 6 shooting from beyond the arc, even at 4 free throw attempts, which was tied for the team lead with Jimmy Butler, and he made 3 of those, so 75%. You live with that. You want 80 or above, but 75 is not horrendous. Added 3 rebounds, added 3 assists, added 3 steals, which supports, that's some evidence for you for his defense tonight, and even had a block. Brandon Podziemski finished Moses Moody finished a plus 21 in net rating, 20 points on the night. Moses Moody, second on the team in scoring after Brandon Podziemski's 27, 20 points, 50% shooting from deep, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 steals on a plus 21 net rating. Moses Moody had himself a night. Bravo, brother. That was magnificent basketball. He put it together. He had himself a great game. So kudos to him. Who else? It deserves a shout out. Something interesting Bob Fitzgerald revealed on the broadcast tonight, and he discussed this while Stephen Curry was riding the exercise bike. And what he revealed, and I did not know this. I've never once heard this in my life, and I don't know if this is a norm in NBA basketball. Fitz was mentioning that in hockey, whenever 2 NHL teams play each other, the players go through a post-game workout, and these workouts are mostly just to keep muscles loose, to prevent tightening, to maybe ease up swelling a bit. I did not know that the Golden State Warriors went through workouts after games as well. And Stephen Curry got a head start on that. In case you saw him riding the bike in the fourth quarter, he was getting ahead of the workouts. We had some free time after the game. And Stephen Curry, good to see you back. He was in complete control of this game from beginning to end. He was controlling the tempo. He looked like he was playing the point guard role a lot more than usual just because he saw the rest of his teammates and how well they were performing tonight. Stephen Curry, 25 minutes, 48 seconds, 4 of 10 shooting from the field, a 50% shooting night from deep from Stephen Curry as well. He was 2 of 4 shooting from beyond the arc, a perfect 3 of 3 from the free throw line. One of those free throws coming courtesy of an out of bounds foul call on San Antonio. And when that happens, the opposing team gets to choose which one of the 5 players on the court shoots that free throw. Stephen Curry got that nod, and he finishes a perfect 3 of 3 again from the charity stripe. 13 points, 6 assists, added a steal, 3 rebounds. Stephen Curry even had a block. Steph was 3rd on the team tonight. I apologize. He was 4th on the team tonight in net rating with a plus 24. That just shows you just how many players were dominating on the court for the Warriors tonight when a plus 24 is still not a top 3 in terms of your net rating statistics. That is how good this team was playing collectively. And altogether, again, 13 points, 6 assists, 3 rebounds, 1 steal, 1 block for Wardell, Stephen Curry, and a quiet night for him. But again, he was playing the facilitator role on a much bigger scale tonight, and the results showed. I thought Draymond Green played a vintage Draymond Green game. Thankfully, did not have a triple single because he scored 14 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists for Draymond, added a steal. But defensively, he was an absolute menace out there tonight. San Antonio was just never got easy buckets. I did forget something that was interesting. I kept hearing Bob Fitzgerald refer to Keldon Johnson, who came off the bench for San Antonio tonight, a player who's been known most of his career as a guard, maybe a small forward, a wing by today's NBA standards, but typically a traditional 2 guard. But he looked big out there tonight. Side note, I don't know if he beefed up because of weights. I don't know if he got a little chubby. He was playing that Charles Barkley role a little bit tonight. But anyways, I bring him up not to discuss his physique or his stature. I bring him up because I completely forgot that Keldon Johnson was on the 2020 Olympic team. Fitzgerald made that reference a few times in the broadcast tonight. Kept saying Draymond Green's Olympic teammate, Keldon Johnson. I'm sitting here like scratching my head going, he was on the Olympic team? Like, I have no memory of that. I had to Google it. And it turns out he was a late addition to the Olympic team because Bradley Beal and Kevin Love, 2 selections on the team, did not make the trip because of COVID protocols. This 2020 Summer Olympics, side note, were actually played in 2021. So yeah, Bradley Beal at one point was an Olympian. I forgot about that too, even though he didn't actually make the trip. So Keldon Johnson is a gold medalist, a random yet true fact. And he was on the opposing team tonight. Keldon Johnson off the bench, 8 of 13 shooting from the field. He was 2 of 5 from 3, 19 points. He led all Spurs scorers. The Warriors defense did a fantastic job with most of San Antonio's players that are legitimate players. Sorry to be redundant there. Stephen Castle, case in point, a player who very likely could win Rookie of the Year, although I have no clue who's the leader on that from an odds perspective. But he was held to 9 points tonight. Harrison Barnes, him and Draymond Green, side note, do not like each other. Barnes finished with just 6 points tonight. Chris Paul, another former Warrior. Talk about a memory that just gets suppressed because very few good memories came from that in his 1 year with the Warriors. Chris Paul had just 6 points tonight. The Warriors defense was all over San Antonio, preventing any of their players from taking off and having a good night. I know Mamouche Chavelli, I think that's how you pronounce his name. I got to work on that one. A lot of people are talking about him as a rookie, shining for the Spurs this year. He did have 14 points, 11 rebounds in this game. The 11 leading the Spurs in that category. The Warriors leading rebounder tonight, no one in double figures there. Brandon Podziemski. Oh, no, he was second on the team in rebounding with 27.6 rebounds for Podziemski. Kevon Looney led the way for the Warriors in rebounding with 7. Kevon Looney, side note, doesn't just lead the Warriors in rebounding this season. He leads all bench players in the NBA in rebounding. True story. And Kevon Looney hit his first 3-pointer of the season in the 4th quarter. I don't know if you folks stuck around and watched the end there, but Kevon Looney had himself a night in 13 minutes and 6 seconds of play. He was second on the team in net rating, had 8 points, 7 rebounds to lead the team, had a 3-point attempt that went in. This was late in the 4th quarter. Looney had himself a night. The player who led the Warriors in net rating, you may or may not be surprised by this, he did have a great night, and I really love what I'm seeing from him when he attacks the paint going left. I did not realize how ambidextrous he was, but Buddy Hield had 19 points in this game. He was 8 of 12 shooting from the field. He was also 3 of 6 shooting from beyond the arc. Yes, that is 50%, folks. Added 5 rebounds, added 4 assists, added 3 steals, 19 points, and a team-leading plus 30 in 24 minutes and 34 seconds of play for Buddy Hield. That's the kind of night this was. Did anyone have a bad game? No. I honestly don't see a single player here that I could criticize. Not one. Not a single Warriors player finished in the negative in net rating, not even the garbage time minutes. Quentin Post came the closest to getting to the negative. He was a team low +2 tonight. Post added 7 points in this game, had just 2 rebounds and an assist. Quentin Post, who's been lighting it up from 3 this season, shooting above 40%, was just 1 of 6 shooting from three. So Quentin Post did not have the greatest of nights, but still finished at +2 in net rating. But Kevon Looney, man, bravo to you. You had yourself a game in just the 13 minutes and 6 seconds that he played. Jimmy Butler, I want to highlight him real fast. Statistically speaking, I thought he had a great night. He took on the facilitator role to a whole nother level, led the team in assists tonight with 8, added 13 points. His three-point shot, he put 2 of them up. He made 1 from the corner that did go in. So he was 1 of 2 shooting from 3, 4 of 5 from the field. 3 rebounds on top of the 8 assists and the 13 points. And Jimmy Butler III had 4 steals in this night. The Golden State Warriors collectively, this is an astounding statistic just goes to show how well they played defensively tonight and how often good defense translates to good offense. The Warriors scored 148 points in this game. They gave up 106. And when you look at the fact that the Warriors had 17 steals, 17 steals in this game, it explains a lot. 3 steals for Moses Moody, 4 steals for Jimmy Butler. Draymond, Podziemski, Stephen Curry each had 1 steal. Buddy Hield had 3 steals. Guy Santos, whose performance tonight will not reflect in terms of his overall contribution on the box score. He only scored 4 points in this game, missed all 3 of his 3-point attempts, but he was a +18 in net rating. He was your connector guy tonight. He was your high energy guy tonight. Did grab 4 rebounds and had 6 assists for Guy Santos, but he also had 2 steals. Quentin Post had a steal. Kevon Looney had a steal. Pat Spencer. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I apologize for that. Guy Santos had 2 steals. Quentin Post had a steal. And Kevin Knox II had a steal. No steals for Pat Spencer. I apologize for that. But 17 steals total for the Golden State Warriors. Excellent defensive performance. And those steals were part of the reason why the Warriors tonight scored 34 points off turnovers. 34. Something tells me those steals are a huge reason for that big number. And again, the final score, 148-106 in an absolute ass-kicking. The Golden State Warriors' biggest lead in this game was 47 points. Bravo. And I think that covers it all. And he paid chats. I hate Ewoks. Drop in $1.99 saying $2 toward your ticket for Friday's game. See you there. Okay. Oh, Friday. That's a big one. I believe next Friday is Warriors and Nuggets. That comes a day after the Warriors' 6-game road trip concludes with a Thursday game next week against the Lakers. So I hate Ewoks. If that's the game you're referring to, make your voice heard, please. Make some goddamn noise. Make Chase Center a rocking and rollicking crowd. The noise has to be pumped in that arena Friday night because Warriors and Nuggets, that is a huge game. I hate Ewoks. So good luck to you. I think we're all rooting for you. When I say we all, I mean members of Dub Nation. Adrian Gutierrez, you're absolutely right. Moses Moody is balling out. I want to see if there's any sound that has come down from this game. Otherwise, I think I'm just going to make this a very short and sweet one. We'll go over the scoreboard. We'll go through the standings. Going to take a breather on audience participation tonight, if you folks don't mind. I did nothing to do with Chardol, by the way. I know quite a few of you, have some interesting opinions about that individual. He comes on the show at the very end, okay? And that's for a good reason. But he's never given me a reason to dislike him or to have any negative feelings towards him. For the brief moments he comes on this program, he makes certain people laugh at least. But Chardol, he comes on the show at the very end. I just want people to know that. And it's by design because I know he's not everyone's cup of tea. And so if you dislike those appearances, again, it's at the very end is when that usually occurs. But we'll save the guests tonight. It's Sunday. We're going to make this short and sweet for the evening. Damian LaRoche. Where have you been, Damian? And side note, Damian LaRoche no longer a Golden Dazer. Are you doing okay? I hope you're doing all right, brother. The Golden Dazer part, I don't mind. But you just being MIA for like a month. Where have you been, Damian? What's going on with you? I hope you're doing okay. But Damian LaRoche in the chat writing, I'll pay to keep Chardol off the show. You don't have to do that. No worries for tonight. So, all right. So, Oh, Damien, your credit card expired. It's all, dude, it's all good, brother. It's no big deal. Again, the perk of being in a Golden Dazer, besides the fact that you're supporting an independent production, again, we're the working classes Warriors show. I like gearing our program towards the non-privileged, non-elitist, non-benefactors of nepotism crowd. I dig that. With that said, if you can't afford to be a Golden Dazer, it's all good. But the money goes to supporting the program. It also highlights your comments. So Traveling Urquidez, for example, if you were not a Golden Dazer, I would not have seen this chat right here saying your credit card expired earlier today as well. So but always thankful and appreciative of everyone for the support. Why don't we go through the scoreboard tonight and see what's going on in the NBA? Since I don't see any sound coming down still when it comes to Kerr or any of the players, I would have liked to hear from Brandon Podziemski. I know he did a post-game interview with the TV broadcast, but we're not rolling on that, so I really have no way of turning that around and flipping it on the show that fast. I don't see any sound that has currently come down. Again, I'm going to save the Grizzlies stuff for tomorrow. Sam Gordon of the San Francisco Chronicle is going to join me. He's going to provide some hopefully titillating, fantastic insights pertaining to how the Warriors have done on this road trip, 6-game road trip that the Warriors are now 4 games in, 2 games remaining, and they're big ones. Tuesday against Memphis with a chance again to move up to 5 in the standings. Look at that. AN is now a Golden Dazer. I cannot thank you enough. One other perk, by the way, of being a Golden Dazer, and I know we don't do these often. These are maybe once or twice a month where I bring on a guest with prominence, right? Ramona Shelburne was the most recent one, for example, of ESPN. Side note, that interview was fantastic, and we touched on subjects covering the last 3+ years. So that is not an interview that's dated. It should be on the front page of Golden Days' YouTube page as well. And if you're a Golden Dazer, I release those before everyone else. So you get exclusive access to that. But more importantly, I think it's just if you want your voice actually heard. And Shardal, love you. I'm not bringing anyone on tonight, okay? But I love you, brother. And thank you as always for the support. I Hate Ewoks is asking, how do I become a Golden Dazer? There's a link in the YouTube or podcast description. Every show we do, there's like a description that kind of tells the audience what today's show will entail. Side note, what we're also going to start doing is beginning each show with like a preview of a listed items of things we're going to cover on the show. This show's going to keep growing and hopefully progressing in a manner that actually represents progress. I don't believe in change just for the sake of it. If there's ever change in my life, it's to improve things. If it ain't broke, I ain't fixing it. But one thing that I'm going to implement is a list at the start of the show with a nice graphic that tells folks what's coming up on the show. And in that description, which also gives love for sponsors, near the bottom, there is a link. If you want to be a Golden Dazer, just click on that. And thank you sincerely for the support. Or you could call yourself, as Adrian Gutierrez writes, a Golden Glazer. It depends on who you're glazing, I suppose, right? Sal Paradise asking in the chat what's going on with Kuminga. We talked about this earlier. He had a hard fall tonight, which looked like a tailbone type injury, but turns out, according to the Warriors themselves, they're calling it right ankle soreness. So we shall see what happens there. I want to show the audience this graphic as well real fast before I get to the scoreboard and the standings. And we're going to call it an early night here on the program. It is Sunday. And again, I think Sophia Jones will have the day off tomorrow. She's traveling anyways. But Sam Gordon will come on and we will have a full-blown Warriors Grizzlies preview. Might save that actually for right after the Grizzlies and the Celtics play, because those teams are going to play tomorrow. And we'll have a better picture of what to expect. So maybe we'll do that on the later side. We shall see. I'm also waiting on Sam for a confirmation of his schedule, because he travels not literally with the Warriors, but his itinerary follows the Warriors everywhere they go. And Sam Gordon, again, of the San Francisco Chronicle, will join us tomorrow for a proper Warriors Grizzlies recap. This graphic, this was shown during the game tonight, and it was such a good graphic that represents how dominant the Warriors bench has been this year. They are a deep team. Steve Kerr has problems playing less than 11 guys a night for very good reasons, sometimes even 12. It's because of numbers like these. The Golden State Warriors on the year are second in the NBA in bench minutes, which alone is fascinating, which means that Kerr is dipping into that bench deeper than all but one other team. I don't know what that other team is. Side note, sorry about that. We can make guesses. If I had to theorize, I'd guess maybe the Clippers, maybe the Thunder. I mean, they dig pretty deep into their bench as well. I got to look that up. But in terms of minutes, the Golden State Warriors are second in bench minutes, 102.3 minutes per game. The Golden State Warriors bench is second in the NBA in scoring, 44.3 points per game. Side note, that's impressive. That is a big number. They're eighth in the NBA in bench three-point field goals made, 5.8. Side note, the Golden State Warriors tonight, a team that has been struggling shooting the ball from three lately, not the case tonight. Draymond Green, by the way, in an interview with Sam Gordon, talked about the three-point shooting struggles recently and said that it's just part of the season. And that just a lot of players have been struggling simultaneously. It's nothing they're worried about. The Warriors tonight were 21 of 44 shooting as a team from deep, 47.7%. One more time, 47.7% of the team's three-pointers made tonight. Fantastic night for them. Again, led by Brandon Podziemski, 7 of 9 shooting from three. Moses Moody was 3 of 6. Draymond Green, nice to see him dropping threes again. I believe he'd been 6 for his last 30 before tonight's game. He went 2 for 4. Stephen Curry, 2 for 4. Buddy Hield, 3 of 6 from 3. Guy Santos, one of the only players who struggled tonight, he was 0 of 3 from deep. Quentin Post being the other one. Post, who's one of the team's leaders in three-point shooting this year, was just 1 of 6 shooting from deep. Kevon Looney got in on the splash party. He had 1 3-point attempt and made it. Pat Spencer was 1 of 2 shooting from beyond the arc. And Trace Jackson Davis, my box score is showing he had a 3-point attempt. My memory does not recollect that, but it does recollect Trace Jackson Davis. He played 9 minutes and 20 seconds in this game, and I know it was garbage time. I know the minutes were not consequential, but he looked good. I do kind of wish that Kerr would not hesitate going into his bench and tapping Trace Jackson Davis when they're playing opposing teams who are giving them issues with interior scoring. I still have some faith in Trace Jackson Davis. I understand why he's benched. He's struggled finishing at times. He's doesn't have a 3-point shot. And again, I have no memory of that 3-point attempt tonight. Oh, Strictly Christo, thank you, is saying that in the chat, saying that Trace Jackson Davis' 3-point attempt came as the final shot of the game. That makes a lot of sense. Thank you for that, Christo. I really do appreciate that greatly. Want to also highlight, Chardol, thank you for being a Golden Glazer. You're a Dazer, my friend. You're a Golden Dazer. There was something else in the chat I was trying to find. Armando Lara brings up an interesting question, and I guess he wants me to try to answer it on my own. I will try, but Armando Lara, another Golden Dazer, thank you, sir. Professor Laura writes in the chat that the worst possible outcome happened tonight and no one's talking about it. Does anyone know what it is? Hold on. That's a good question. I mean, the Kuminga injury is the obvious answer. I mean, are you leading toward more like too much faith in Podziemski? I'm trying to think what your answer to this is going to be. Is it Podziemski shot the ball so well that Steve Kerr is going to have too much blind faith in him? I mean, the Kuminga one is like the obvious one. You've got me thinking now. I don't know what the answer is to that, Laura. Please answer. Please follow that up. I don't see a follow-up to that question. I don't know what you're thinking. So please come up with that. Byron Knox in the chat, another Golden Days, are writing that if Steve Kerr comes out with the small ball lineup against Memphis, it's over. I mean, Memphis is a big team. There's no question about that. The Warriors have won 2 of 3 against Memphis this season, but the one loss was by 51, and that game was in Memphis. So I hope they remember that and bring it back. But Armando Lara following it up. Yeah, we talked about this at the very beginning of the show, saying that the Jonathan Kuminga injury is what we discussed. And yeah, and again, people sometimes give me shit for this, and to which my response always is, you're misreading what I'm trying to say when it comes to Kuminga, which is that I want opportunities for this kid. I've never seen a single player in the NBA not only make it with the amount of minutes he gets, but I've also never seen a lottery pick of his stature used as poorly as Kerr has in terms of the minute distribution again. But with all that said, if you're waiting for me to criticize Kuminga, here it is. And I think this is valid. He needs to show durability. He needs to show that he can play through pain. He needs to show that he's not going to let injuries debilitate his career. I don't like seeing young players like him miss games like this. He missed a chunk of games last year too. That is why the durability thing has become an issue now, from my perspective, in regards to Jonathan Kuminga. They need him if they're going to make a serious run this postseason. I have no idea if he's going to play on Tuesday. We shall see. But yeah, and Byron Knox is asking, what's the timeline for Gary Payton II to come back? The Warriors released a report saying they were going to reevaluate him in a week. But when you tear a ligament in your shooting hand, something tells me we might not see him again this year. I could be mistaken on that. I am not an MD. My guess is based off observing sports for 40 plus years. But if I had to guess, I don't think we're going to see GP2 for the remainder of the regular season. I don't know what the status is for the postseason. So we shall see. Some super chats in here as well. I mentioned that as well. Thank you again for being a new Golden Dazer. Armando Lara dropping $1.99 saying that Brandon Podziemski feasting on tanking teams again. Congrats on the hot take side note. That is a great hot take. Armando Lara basically insinuating that Brandon Podziemski had himself a night tonight because of the lesser opposition. Well, the Warriors have some big games coming up. They play the Grizzlies Tuesday, they play the Lakers Thursday, and they play the Nuggets Friday. So we're about to get some big tests for Mr. Podziemski in terms of whether or not he can follow up tonight's performances when it matters most. Shardal dropping $1.99 saying, just asking, how am I doing? And thank you for the compliment. I really do appreciate that. Shardal, you're the man. Thank you to everyone again for the support. Why don't we go to the scoreboard? Side note, by the way, Roy Enderman is accusing me of being on Brandon Podziemski's jock. Am I? I mean, what I've said always regarding Podziemski is I don't like him as a starter. I think he's much better served as a backup point guard. I think I have more evidence on my side supporting that case than against it. But I also do think there's hope for this kid long-term. Like, I'm not sour on him in terms of long-term projections. Like, I think Brandon Podziemski a year from now, 2 years from now, could end up being a damn good player. All-star? I don't know. I'm not going to make that prediction, but I think he could be a damn good player. This season, even with a performance like tonight, I still want him coming off the bench. I think the Warriors can be better served with a starting five where Moody slides to the 2 spot and Quentin Post as your starting center. Makes life easier for Dre. You're actually spacing the floor as much as you are currently with Podziemski. The size factor comes into play. I prefer that. I wouldn't even hate it if Guy Santos had a bigger role on this team, in all honesty. But we'll have to agree to disagree if you really think I'm a Podziemski stan. I don't hate the kid, but also don't think as highly of him as some people do. But that's just me. And we shall see what happens in the big picture. Armando Lara. New Jersey, by the way, thank you very much for asking people to hit the like button. Well, hold on. What happened? Here, Armando Lara. Sorry about that. Following up saying that people think Podziemski hustles because when he runs, you see his hair move. What's the? He's got to do something about the hair, man. I mean, he looks like Sideshow Bob. Is that the character's name in The Simpsons? Like when you have a haircut that resembles that character in The Simpsons, you got to do something about it, man. That's the extent of my opinion on Brandon Podziemski and his looks, but that is funny. Richard Marquez, Golden Days, are adding that Kevin Knox looked good tonight. Yeah, he did. Yeah, you're right. Garbage time. So there isn't, we try not to read too much into how a player plays in those minutes unless Kevon Looney's hitting threes. But yeah, but I hear you. He did look good. All right, let's go check out the scoreboard on the night. Ray Enderman adding. Yeah, and we've talked about this, Ray. I have no disagreement with you here. Ray Enderman calling Brandon Podziemski Steve Kerr's stepson. No pushback. Again, the favoritism Steve Kerr has displayed toward Brandon Podziemski, it's ridiculous. Okay, I don't like it. So we're on the same page there. I promise you that. All right, let's go to the scoreboard and see what's going on in the rest of the NBA. Oh, after I finish up what I started like 30 minutes ago, which was the Warriors bench. I mentioned that they're 8th in the NBA in 3-point field goals made. The Golden State Warriors bench is 1st in the NBA in rebounding. That's impressive. The Golden State Warriors bench is 2nd in the NBA in assists. The Warriors tonight, side note, finished the game. They were moving the ball well. 42 assists for one of the top assist teams in the NBA. And their bench does routinely play a big part in that. 10.2 assists per game, 2nd in the NBA. And the Warriors bench is 2nd in the NBA in steals with 4.0 per game. They had 17 of those tonight. The Warriors outscored the bench in 54 of 73 games this season. So good stats, courtesy of NBC Sports Bay Area. Good performance by the Warriors bench on the season. And now let's play some tunes and start wrapping this show up by seeing what is going on in the rest of the association, since there is no sound to play, unfortunately. Coming down the wire from San Antonio, unless something new has just happened. Let me check again real fast. I would really like to play some sound, but something tells me the Warriors are just running for the plane, and they're moving on to Memphis for one of the biggest games of the year, no doubt. All right, let's check out the scoreboard on this Sunday. It's already March 30th. God damn, where did this month go? All right, let's see what happened in the association tonight. Music's playing. Si, senor. That's me talking to myself. Let me see if there's anything else I missed in my notes, by the way, before we cover the rest of the association. We've covered all that. Oh, and one last stat that I think is worth mentioning. When Stephen Curry and Jimmy Butler play together, the Warriors' record is 17-2. Keep that in mind. That is a damn good stat. 19-game sample size of Stephen Curry and Jimmy Butler playing together, and they're 17-2 together. Warriors showing teeth 2025 in the chat's asking, where's Sophia Jones? She normally joins the program Monday, but she might not join the show this week. She's traveling, giving her a week off, given I still don't pay her yet. On that note, we need sponsors for V for Valkyrie. So if you're interested, and the sponsorship won't just be associated with our once-a-week show, email us, warriors24pod@gmail.com. Again, warriors24pod@gmail.com. We currently have 2 slots open, and I'm looking for long-term sponsorship. So if you want to build a fantastic relationship with us, shoot an email, and let's get Sophia Jones paid. I need to start getting her paid. So that is one of my agenda items. I'm working on it. But Sophia Jones is off this week. She'll be back next week. But meanwhile, in the rest of the association, again on this Sunday, March 30th, we had ourselves some games. First up, we'll go through all of them. Who cares? Even the ones that are just utterly irrelevant. The Toronto Raptors, 127-109 winners tonight over the Philadelphia 76ers, a team that has been on a roller coaster this season. RJ Barrett, 31 points. Lonnie Walker, the fourth, who was not even in the NBA 3 months ago, 23.7 assists in the loss. The Raptors improved to 28-47. Philly drops to 23-52. Side note, Philadelphia, if their draft pick falls out of the top 6, it goes to OKC, which is insane. New Orleans Pelicans, 98-94 winners over the Charlotte Hornets tonight, a Hornets team that has lost LaMelo Ball for the rest of the year. Brooks on New Orleans, don't even know who that is, and I don't care. 17 points, 8 rebounds, 3 blocks on the win. Yusuf Nurkic, 13 points, 12 rebounds, 3 blocks in the loss for Charlotte. In a game that featured a brawl, which I imagine you folks have either seen or will see very soon. I think I posted it on my own social media accounts as well if you want to check it out. It involved former Warrior Dante DiVincenzo, mamma mia. Naz Reid was involved in it. Yes, Beef Stew, Isaiah Stewart was in the mix, although I don't think he was like the primary shit stirrer of the brawl. Who else does Detroit have on their team as well that likes to stir it up? Is it Rollins, the rookie? Anyways, there were a lot of people involved. There was a scuffle. Minnesota comes away victorious in that game, 123-104, the final. Anthony Edwards, I didn't see him in that brawl, but Rudy Gobert had 25 rebounds in this game to go along with 19 points. Malik Beasley, 27 points for Detroit in the loss. Minnesota improves to 43-32. They're a game behind the Golden State Warriors, but they also lose the tiebreak. So the Warriors essentially have a 2-game lead over Minnesota. Detroit falls to 42-33. Anthony Merkovich is asking what happened to LaMelo. I can't remember, but it wasn't like a serious injury. I think he's going to go undergo a procedure, and Charlotte. It was one of those things where Charlotte knows their season's cooked. They have absolutely nothing to play for. So shutting him down for the year just helps with their draft lottery odds. That's the primary reason. Julian Bashir's asking, how are the Warriors going to handle Julius Randle and Rudy Gobert? They already did. They won the season series. And it get perplexing because Minnesota in years past have given the Warriors issues. Not this year. The Warriors have their number and took easy care of them, and they won the season series. So irrelevant. Byron Knox in the chat asking, or not asking, I apologize, suggesting that the Warriors starting 5 against Memphis should be Steph, Moses Moody at the 2, Jimmy Butler at the 3, Draymond Green at the 4, and Kevon Looney at the 5. I don't hate it. I don't. Armando Lara also mentioning that Kuminga not playing with Jimmy Butler on a consistent basis. And I'm guessing part of the reason why, Armando, you bring that up is because in the rotations, Steve Kerr has been playing Kuminga more with Steph than Jimmy. And so Armando Lara is calling that a war crime, and that it looks like we're just going to see it in the playoffs. Yeah, the postseason prep, I'm not seeing it. But again, the level of competition for the Warriors is about to increase exponentially. So these next 3 games, I think, will tell a lot about what's to come for the Warriors. I just hope Kuminga is available and can actually play. Warriors showing teeth 2025, adding, bring on the Grizzlies in all caps. Hope I captured. Oh, and oh no! Woo! There you go. I hope I captured your that's correct. Going back to the scoreboard, the Milwaukee Bucks got their asses handed to them by the Atlanta Hawks, 145-124 the final. Atlanta improving to 36-38. Milwaukee dropping to 40-34, if I have that right. Giannis Antetokounmpo, 31 points, 9 rebounds in the loss. Zachary Ricochet, 36 points, 6 rebounds for the current number 1 pick, the most recent number 1 pick. I think it's the more accurate way to spell that out. The New York Knicks, 110-93 winners tonight over the Portland Trailblazers, following a pattern where they can beat the lesser teams. They have no shot in hell against good teams. I bring that up largely because the Knicks choked against the Clippers at home the other night. Not tonight, though. They take care of Portland. OG Anunoby, 28 points, 7 rebounds, 3 steals. Avdia, who's been lighting it up for Portland in the loss tonight, 33 points, 7 rebounds, 3 steals. That guy looks like he can play. And the game that mattered most today, this was played this morning. The LA Clippers were in Cleveland, and thank you, Cleveland Cavaliers, for helping the Golden State Warriors out tonight. 127-122 winners. Jared Allen, 25 points, 12 rebounds in the win. Norman Powell, 34 points in the loss. Cleveland got their 60th win of the season. They improved to 60-15. The Clippers dropped to 42-32, a full game behind the Golden State Warriors for the 6th seed. A game that's on right now, the Houston Rockets, 78-49. That is the score where they're leading the Boston Celtics at the that's the halftime score. At the half, Houston leads Phoenix 78-49. Amen Thompson, 14 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists. Devin Booker, 20 points for the Suns, for the hapless Suns. So there you have it. And then the standings, and excuse me, I'll share this for the YouTube viewers. Get this set up. Okay. And let's see where the Warriors are. Can't believe the postseason starts in 2 weeks. That's insane. Or at least the season ends in 2 weeks. And the postseason starts like the play-in starts right after. The Warriors are aiming to avoid that so they can get a nice week off between the regular season's conclusion and the start of the postseason. I think we're all collectively hoping. And I know there are a few outliers out there, you sadistic sons of bitches who actually want the Warriors to take on the Nuggets in the first round. But for, I think, most sane individuals, you don't want to see Denver in the opening round. But it's wild that yet another NBA season is coming to a wraps, and the standings on this roller coaster of a year that we've been on. When I say we, I mean members of Dub Nation. These are your standings. Again, on Sunday, March 30th. These standings, I don't think will change regardless of what happens in that Phoenix game. The Phoenix Suns, again, they're getting their asses kicked by nearly 30 points to the Houston Rockets. So we look at the standings right now, and if the season ended today, the Golden State Warriors would be the 6th seed, and they would take on the 3-seeded Denver Nuggets in the first round. Again, you don't want that. I don't want that. I don't want to see Denver. The Warriors see Denver this Friday. They haven't beaten them since the 2022 postseason. Denver owns a 9-game winning streak over the Warriors. Yeah, don't want that. But the Warriors at least would be in the playoffs and not the play-in if the season ended today. The Warriors currently own a half-game lead over the Minnesota Timberwolves. I apologize, I said 1 game earlier. It's a half game, but they also own the tiebreak, and they are a full game ahead in terms of the loss column. The Warriors are a full game ahead of the LA Clippers, who dropped to the 8th seed with their loss at Cleveland earlier today. So the Warriors at 43-31 have a 1-game lead over the Clippers. They don't own the tiebreak there. That's already cooked and finished. They have a half-game lead over Minnesota. They do own the tiebreak over the Minnesota Timberwolves. And if I actually did my research on this, if the 3 teams finish tied, the tiebreak they would look at would be that the collective head-to-heads of all 3 teams against each other. Meaning, you look at the Warriors and what their record is versus both Minnesota and the Clippers, right? So the Warriors, I think, finished this season 2-1 against Minnesota, 0-3 against the Clippers. So the Warriors go into this with a 2-4 record. And I think the Warriors would get the short end of the stick if it ends up being a 3-way tie between the Warriors and the Timberwolves and the Lakers, because of the head-to-heads, largely with that Clippers game. I don't know if that's set in stone. Like, I don't know if that can change between now and then, but safe to say, avoid a 3-team tie when this season ends with LA and Minnesota, because the Warriors will likely get the short end of the stick in that scenario. But right now, they're the 6th seed, and maybe the most exciting news, they are currently just 1 game back of the Memphis Grizzlies. Regardless of what happens tomorrow between Memphis and Boston, the Warriors will still be just 1 game back of the Grizzlies in the loss column. So if they beat Memphis Tuesday, they will be tied in the loss column. Both teams 31 losses apiece, and the Warriors would win the season tiebreak outright over the Memphis Grizzlies with the win Tuesday. Huge, massive implications in that. If Memphis loses tomorrow hosting the Boston Celtics, the Warriors would just leapfrog them outright with the win Tuesday and be all alone in 5th place. The LA Lakers are currently the 4th seed. They're 2 games ahead of the Golden State Warriors. The Warriors and Lakers play each other next Thursday. If the Warriors win that game, they could be within one of the Lakers. But the Lakers did win the first 3 meetings this season. So that's another tiebreak that the Warriors are already out of contention for, regardless of what happens Thursday. But you never know what can happen between now and the end of the season. Like, it's very possible the Lakers could collapse and they could lose, let's say, like 6 of 8, and the Warriors could leapfrog them. So still a lot at play. But the Lakers are not a team I'm looking at closely. Memphis, the Clippers, and the Timberwolves, they are 1,000,000% on my radar at the moment. So Byron Knox evoking Whoop That Trick back in 2022, saying the Warriors going to be dancing to that Tuesday night. I hope so. Han Solo Dolo saying the Warriors do not want the 5 seed to play the Lakers in the playoffs. I still take that over the Nuggets all day, every day. With LA, you're playing a team that suddenly is not imposing in terms of having massive dudes outplaying you, imposing their will on you. Denver can do that. LA cannot. So if LA is going to beat you, they're going to have to beat you with shooting. They're going to have to beat you with playmaking. And that's how the Warriors win games. I'm not super worried about the Lakers. Nuggets, whole other story. So if the choice is between LA and Denver, give me LA every day. If the choice is between LA and the play-in, give me LA every day. If the choice is between the Nuggets and the play-in, give me the play-in. I would rather have the play-in than the Nuggets in the first round. I don't want that embarrassment of a 4-game sweep. Don't want it. I think that's it. Let's see if there's any other comments here that I need to address. Armando Laura writing that teams in the playoffs are going to stop doubling Jimmy Butler. They're going to stick a bigger guy on him and test whether he can drop 30 twice in a series. We will find out if he can. He's already proven he can. Now, granted, he's a little older than he used to be, but I have faith in the Jimmy Butler experience come postseason. The resume is there. The evidence is already on display, and I think he can replicate it. I do. That's it. Byron Knox saying that Jimmy Buckets needs to step up in the next 4 games. Agreed. Palmetto Money saying, I don't want to see Denver. Agreed. Are we going to chill the rest of this Sunday? Agreed. Light them up. Enjoy that blowout. J Rock is asking, do you really think the Nuggets will sweep the Warriors even with Jimmy Butler? 5 games? I don't know, man. I just don't want that matchup. I don't want that matchup. Plain and simple. All right. Thank you, everyone. Great win. Nothing like a good old-fashioned blowout. Keep things cool and calm on a Sunday night. That was beautiful. Congrats to Brandon Podziemski. Congrats to the Golden State Warriors. Let's hope Kuminga's okay. And I guess that's it. Thank you. Go Dubs. Bye-bye. Woo! Bye-bye.